In the streaming wars, Netflix is playing a commanding game of chess. We'll talk about what that means for the streamer as Unpeeled starts right now. The Queen's Gambit is setting records for Netflix, but how did it get there? Let's talk about it. Welcome to another webisode edition of Unpeeled. I'm Olivia Tumino, and I'm joined by our television reporter, Patrick Gunn, to talk about the show's success. Pat, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun talking about the show.
Of course. So why don't we just start right in with the numbers. So how has this show been performing on Netflix?
It's just been performing incredibly well. It's a pretty big surprise to see. And just to give you the basic numbers from Netflix, 62 million households watch it in the show's first 28 days, so 4 weeks.
Wow.
Now, they count watching 2 minutes as a view, but still 62 million for a mini series like this based on a book from over 30 years ago is pretty impressive. I mean, the language in this does matter as well because Tiger King was also a limited series. And, of course, The Witcher is one of the more popular series on the show, which is on the streamer, that had more viewers overall. But it's still very successful. I mean, some more Netflix numbers just to give you an idea of how big this was globally. It made Netflix's top 10 in 92 countries. 63 of those, it went number one at one point. The original novel, which came out 37 years ago, is back in the New York Times bestsellers list. And even Google searches for how to play chess have hit a 9-year peak. So this show is not only improving the Netflix's game globally, it's also increasing the game for chess.
Wow. So it definitely sounds like people are enjoying it. So how is a miniseries about chess doing this well?
I mean, I think you could start out by really looking into two people in particular. The one person I would think you really should look into is Anya Taylor-Joy, the star of the show. She is phenomenal as Beth Harmon, the main chess player. You have to go a lot of different gambits of emotion here. Gambit, no pun intended, I guess. She's the character who loses her mother early on, an orphan, adopted by and living in an orphanage, adopted by a mother. She's just really got this quiet. Starts out as a quiet character. You can really see how nervous and shy she is, but then you also see this confidence building and so it starts out really just from her knowing that she's good at chess that grows because she just realizes, yeah, I'm good and I'm going to beat you. It's something that's really impressive to watch. And the character has a lot of difficult storylines to go through, obviously losing her mother, adoption, and the years of drug abuse that she has to deal with and addiction. And I think and then Anya Taylor-Joy really covers it so well. And the other person I think that really is to be credit for the success, but is co-creator Scott Frank. He mainly known, the biggest thing he's done is co-writing the X-Men film Logan. He also directed every single episode, and visually that show is stunning. The way that they just show not only just the way environments and how they tell the story, but the way they show chess. Chess isn't the most visual sport to watch. It's just two people at a desk. And they find so many different ways of visualizing the thought process behind making each move, the way that the back and forth, the banter, the confidence, the personality that you can see really coming alive with it. And that really is shown a lot through the visuals. It really adds depth and makes it even more exciting. So it's just a really entertaining show with great performances. It's kind of hard to get by that.
Definitely. And character-driven stories are definitely my favorite. So it sounds like that's what it's really focused on. So I'm excited to check that out. Now, it may seem obvious, but would you recommend The Queen's Gambit to anyone?
Shockingly, yes, I would recommend this show. My last comments weren't glowing enough. It's just a really brilliant period piece, coming of age story, kind of every single thing. It's not, again, that's something that's based on a property that you probably haven't really seen before unless you're a fan of the book. It's just a really, really well told, tight story that covers, it's just so, I think it's really personal to the creators and just really, really entertaining as a whole.
Definitely. And what do you think that this is going to mean for the future of Netflix? I think this is one of their most popular shows. I know they've had other big hits like Stranger Things, but what does this mean for Netflix?
It means a couple things. I think it shows really what kind of content that they can really make anything. If you put the right people behind it, they can make something really strong. And then for the creator, Scott Frank also was a part of the miniseries Godless before, which is more of a Western series, but it was well reviewed, and which probably led him to getting this job. So it shows that giving the right people the right tools, they can really make a good show. They don't need to be this big overarching story like something with Stranger Things are based on them major comic or video game like The Witcher. It can be just something that's a smaller story, a little bit smaller scale, with really good performances and really well-made production design can really do overall. And I think Netflix is really known for just making a ton of different things, like more so than any other streaming service. They're known for just having so much content and so many different options, so much going on at once. And this is just another kind of little thing that would probably get approved at Netflix that may not get approved in other networks. That is really, really shines and it's nice to see something like this really hit, because it's not like other series. It's really something unique and very enjoyable.
And I think that after hearing you talk about it, everyone is going to want to check it out. So thank you, Patrick, for joining us. That's all the time we have for this webisode edition of Unpeeled. Stay tuned to our YouTube for more stories and conversations. I'm Olivia Tumino. Stay safe and have a great holiday season, Unpeelers.